Mango is with us. Mango, why don't you say a few words? You're being shy. Hello, welcome to MySwimPro HQ. We're here in the studio.
Being shy. Hello, welcome to MySwimPro HQ. We're here in the studio.
That's pretty good.
Being shy. Hello, welcome to MySwimPro HQ.
Mango.
We're here in the studio.
Okay, we're gonna calm Mango down. So, this is the Ask a SwimPro show, and we are here in the studio. I'm here joined by MySwimPro co-founder Michael Alon. How you doing?
Great.
And I'm also joined by our special guest Mango. Mango, how are you doing? Mango's not
being shy again.
Mango's not having anything for it. You know what? It's fine. So we're really excited to be here with you today, and we are talking about what it's like to swim in Europe. But why are we talking about Europe? Where were we?
Yeah, so we just got back from a trip to Berlin and Munich in Germany. We were there for an event with our partner Casio, smartwatch manufacturer, and basically if you download the MySwimPro app onto the Casio, it's like made specifically for that watch. It's a great watch, waterproof, good battery life, good screen. Go check out the watch, download MySwimPro, run it on that.
Yeah, so Casio in Berlin had IFA. It was a big technology conference, 100,000 people attend, and Casio was launching their newest smartwatch, which is the WSD F30, which is the newest version. It's very rugged, Casio, and so our application runs Wear OS by Google, and we were there. We spoke at the press event about all the cool things that we're doing with MySwimPro, and after we couldn't swim in Berlin. We were a little bummed actually. We went. Berlin held the 1936 Olympic Games, and they had this incredible venue about 15 minutes right outside the city center, and we actually showed up. But right when we got there, what happened?
You know, well, the first time we got there, we didn't have our swimming equipment.
Yes,
we didn't have our swimsuits.
You need to have a swimsuit.
We came back, and they told us the electricity went out. No more power.
No power, no swimming. So we were a little bummed that we didn't get to swim in the 1936 Olympic pool in Berlin. But then after Berlin, we took a quick train ride to Munich, and in Munich we got to go swimming.
Yes, we did.
So tell us about what we got to experience in Munich.
So in Munich, we were able to go to this really cool pool. It's called Volksbad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it exactly right, but
it's beautiful, this pool.
Yeah. So this was, I guess, built in 1901, but it's built to resemble like an ancient Roman bath, and just like amazing pool. It's like 2 levels. The first level is for the pool, and the second level is like your changing room, and it looks down on the pool. Really high vaulted ceiling.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, So it was built in 1901. It was completed in 1901, and at that time it was the most expensive and the largest swimming pool in the world. So you can imagine how excited we were to go into this venue, and it doesn't look like any ordinary pool, especially if you're from the United States. Most pools actually have the same framework. Most pools were built in the last 50 years, if not the last 15 years. And so in Europe, you have this opportunity to swim in pools that were created, decades ago. In this case, over 100 years ago. And the architecture, like Mike said, is amazing. It's modeled after Roman baths and hammams and mosques, and it doesn't look like it's a swimming pool. But when you look at it, it's a pool, obviously. And there's even a fountain. There's 2 pools actually. So let's back up a little bit. So it's just amazing, and we'll have a blog post about this, and we'll have photos and videos of Mike and I swimming in this venue. So it's a 25-meter pool is the main facility, and then immediately next to this 25-meter pool, that's only about 4 lanes, there's another pool which is a little bit shorter, about 20 meters, and about the same width as the main pool. So you have a 25-meter pool with 2 levels where the locker rooms are on the second level, and you overlook this amazing facility. And then the pool next to it is only 20 meters, and it also has a fountain that's spraying water into the pool. And then in addition to these 2 swimming pools, there's a spa and sauna area, which we didn't even go into, but it's amazing to see that. So maybe Mike, walk us through
Yeah, it was definitely getting to the pool. It was much different than walking to your YMCA or a pool over here. So it took us a while to figure out how to even get into this thing, right?
Yeah, so we were looking at Google Maps. We navigate to the venue. We wanted to make sure we got to this place. And so we find the pool, and it doesn't look like a swimming pool, especially if you're from the United States. You know, we're used to buildings being very boxy and plain. So in Europe, you have this amazing architecture. So we find out, oh, yes, this is actually the swimming pool. And we go in the front doors. And we want to walk you guys through this so you get a feel of if you ever get to experience this pool or any other pool. A lot of pools in Europe are set up the same, where you walk in and there's a person at the ticket counter and you have to buy a ticket. So maybe walk us through, like, how does that work with getting a card and then the keys and the lockers? How does that work?
Well, fortunately, everyone in Germany is speaking English, or a lot.
Yes,
of people.
English is very important
helpful
for us.
So yeah, we had to go purchase a card. For the two of us, and then go through
a card. What does the card do? Card for what?
To get our keys.
Key for what?
To get our key for the locker room.
Yes, it's a little complicated, to be honest.
Lots of steps here.
Lots of steps. And so you go to this person, you buy. It was $4.80, so 4.8 euros, which is actually relatively inexpensive for what you're about to get. Unlimited pool access. So you pay $4.80, and then you get a card. It's like a credit card. And this credit card is what allows you to swipe into the pool area, but you don't actually get to the pool yet. You're in sort of this chamber where you pick up your locker. And so there's actually two different sets of lockers. So you have your card, and then what do? You swipe in.
You swipe in. You go to this little small locker area.
They're small lockers.
Where there's a bunch of keys in the lockers.
Already.
Yeah. And then, I guess, did we swipe our card on those
You
lockers?
put the card, so you take the card, and you put the card inside of the locker, and then you have to put in, was it 5 euros or 2 euros? It's you have to put in a coin
€2, I think,
to pull the key out. And whatever number locker you pull the key out of, that's your big locker in the actual pool area that it corresponds to.
Yes.
So it's a little bit tricky because you think, okay,
we didn't get this.
Yeah, we had no idea what we're doing in the beginning. And luckily there were people there that were super nice and they helped us out with this. But basically, you have this card, step one. Step two is you put the card in the small locker, you pull the key out, and then you take that key to your big boy or big girl locker, and then that's how you open the big locker where you can put all of your clothes. And then eventually you can get to the swimming pool. And I thought this was just, we were ignorant and we didn't know what we were doing. But it turns out a lot of people, even at that pool, were not that familiar with it. So unless you frequent a lot of swimming pools, you might not know how this works. So if you're already familiar with how that works, in the United States, for example, if you're going to a public facility, most of the time, if you pay to enter, that's the only thing you'll have to do. So you'll pay $5 or $10, however much it costs to actually enter the facility at the front. And then once you do that, they normally won't give you a card or a key or anything. That's sort of on your own. So you can just go into the locker room area or the pool, and you're pretty much all set. So it's a little bit simpler in the U.S., but in Europe, in Munich, and this pool specifically, it was definitely an interesting experience. But once you're into the pool, it was awesome.
But before you even get into the pool, you go to the locker room, and then there's changing rooms, not within the locker room, but on the sides.
Yeah, on the second level. The locker rooms are actually on the second level of the pool, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, and actually they were beautiful too. Like everything about this pool is like amazing. If you ever have a chance to go there, I'd definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and in addition, so when you have the key to your locker, you actually, it's like a bracelet, and you tie it onto your wrist, and you have it with you all the time. So you don't need anything. You wouldn't have your phone or anything else. Some people bring their towel down to the pool, but for the most part, you just have the key with you. You swim. The showers are right there on the first level of the pool, and then you can leave. And I've experienced the same key concept in other pools. So like after...
So where else have you swum then?
Yeah, so after we were in Berlin and then we went to Munich, and then afterwards I was in Switzerland and I went to a few different facilities, and it was the same concept. So you enter, you either get a card or a key, and then you pick your locker, and then the key goes on your wrist. So I was in Zurich and I swam in a beautiful 50-meter pool. It was actually the best well-lit pool I've ever swum at that was indoor. It was all glass. It was amazing. We'll have photos on the blog and linked in this. And so it's the same concept. You put in the currency in Switzerland is the Swiss franc, and so you put in 5, it's a coin, into the locker. And so if you don't have any coins, you can't actually use the locker. So you need to have coins, pro tip. And so you put in 5 Swiss franc, and then you pull out the key, and then you can go swim. The key is on your wrist. And another thing that was really interesting, which you don't see in the United States, is the lanes are designated by stroke type in that specific pool. So some pools you'll go to, you'll have a freestyle or backstroke lane. These are the crawl strokes. Or you'll have a breaststroke and butterfly, like an all strokes lane. And each lane is marked by speed. So if you compare and contrast that to the United States, normally in the US, you'll only have like slow, medium, fast, or like a training lane or recreational lane or something like that. But it was interesting to see in Switzerland to have each lane has a specific stroke type. So if you're doing breaststroke, you're not supposed to be in the crawl lane, which is for backstroke and freestyle. So that was really, really interesting.
Now let me ask you about these other pools. Was there opera involved in these other
pools? There was
pools?
not, so we need to back up because this was really interesting. When we were in the Berlin pool, why don't you tell us about the opera performance that we got to see in the pool?
Yeah, so as we're walking out, we get changed, we're done with our swim, and we're heading out, and we see this group of people walking to the smaller pool that Ferris was mentioning. And so we follow them in there, and we're not sure what's going on, but we go to the smaller pool, and there's upper level seating where you can view down at that pool as well. And we see this small orchestra, like a small band.
Full-on opera.
Yeah. So they're getting ready to play, and they got lights going on, and we're not sure what to expect. And then suddenly, like down below at the pool, someone in full opera attire and costumes gets out and starts singing, and we're like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, so we got to see the opera in this pool. It was cool because the second level, we have photos and videos, which will all be linked in. Yeah. So you have the opera performance going on with the orchestra playing as well. And they were actually in the pool swimming, performing, which is extremely difficult because to have clothing on in the water, if you're a swimmer, you know how hard this can be. And they're performing opera, which is really physically challenging, especially on your lungs. And then to add swimming on top of that, I've never seen it before.
We're doing work.
I probably won't ever see that again, actually. It's pretty rare to see something like that.
That's
not how opera works.
Work?
I'm pretty sure that's not how opera is.
That's not how opera works.
Yeah. Another thing, if we go back to Switzerland, so what's really cool is, for example, in the city of Zurich, which is one of the cities I swam at, it's cool because you can pay 250 Swiss francs for the whole year, and you can swim in any of the official city pools. So all the pools are operated by the city for the most part. And so whether it's a pool in a lake, so meaning literally it's a section of Lake Zurich and it's sectioned off and you can swim. So very, very cool experience.
Yeah, the whole trip was amazing. And getting back to the USA, it's definitely different going to the pool.
Yeah, and in the past I've been to the spas in Budapest, Hungary, and it's the same concept where you grab a key and you have the key from the locker on your wrist the entire time. And I actually think that's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about your stuff ever getting stolen or missing because it's in a locker safe. And a lot of people don't bring their stuff onto the pool deck, which is a pretty common occurrence that you'd see here in the States. So that was a really neat experience.
Well, we ran into a few swimmers there.
Yeah.
While we were there. We saw some people doing some real workouts.
Everyone's doing a real workout if they're there at the pool going back and forth.
That's true.
But it was cool to see the different varying skill levels. One of the things that's really hard about swimming on your own is that it can be boring and challenging if you don't have a structured workout. So it's great to go to the pool and swim for 20 or 30 minutes back and forth. But if you're looking to take it to the next level, it's really helpful to follow a program, follow a training plan. Because a lot of these people in Europe and here in the States, anywhere else, you're not training with a team. So it's really hard to keep yourself motivated and not only keep yourself motivated, but just to know what to do to make yourself faster and maximize your time in the water. So I guess what do you recommend, Mike? I mean, most of us swim on our own. So what do you recommend for people who are swimming on their own? They're looking for that next level.
Yeah. So swimming on your own, obviously, it can be, a little monotonous when you're just going back and forth and, kind of deciding on the fly what to do. So you should definitely try to push yourself with a different workout each time you go. Have a training plan. Obviously, check out the MySwimPro app. You could, no matter what your skill level is, you can find the right training plan or workout for you. And then you can run it on your watch, whether that be the Apple Watch, the Casio with Wear OS by Google, Garmin, Fitbit, whatever. You can also just print off the workout, take it with the pool to you, and use the pool clock or however you want to do that as well.
Yeah, and so Paige is on the live stream on Facebook, and she's asking us, did you do some synchro with them? I mean, did we? I feel like we didn't do the formal artistic swimming that people would consider synchro today. We didn't have any formations. We should work on that.
We did.
But
and our opera.
And opera, yeah. Oh, they did. Is that what she's referring to? Maybe.
I think so.
Oh,
but can you tell us about swimming in the river?
The river.
Yeah.
Which river? The one in Munich?
Munich, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we didn't actually swim in the river, but it's really cool. So there are these natural rivers that are streaming water from the Alps, the ice melting off the Swiss Alps, and the water is relatively cold, but it's moving really quickly. And because there's a dip in the ground of the river, it creates a wave. And so there's people who are actually surfing in the river. It's the most crazy thing you've ever seen, actually, when it comes to surfing. So people are wearing wetsuits. There's 3 different levels, different current speeds, and different levels of surfing is going on. So it's really cool to watch people and I hear this happens even when the weather is cold. So even outside of the summer, put a wetsuit on, people are going surfing, people are going swimming, and you can actually you can just hop in the water, and because there's a current in your swimsuit, you can just float the river. And you can actually take public transportation in your swimsuit without a towel, without any clothes, back to where you started. The city of Munich has allowed this because they know how popular this is for people who live there and also tourists from all over the world. So that was really cool to see that. I think next time we go, we'll have to actually get in the water.
Not me.
I definitely wanted to do it. It would have been pretty sweet. Let's check out what else people are saying. Bonjour from Ali.
Yeah, he's
What's
saying,
going on?
Sandra says the clothes locker and the valuables locker. That's what the small locker's for.
Yes,
Exactly.
Sandra, correct.
Yeah.
€1. Sandra knows what's up. Sandra's like, I swim at that pool every day. I know how it works. Sandra, we need to get you on the SwimPro show next time. One of the things that I want to quickly touch on is those training plans that Michael mentioned are super useful for a variety of fitness goals. So whether it's performance, so you're actually trying to get faster at swimming and compete in a master's competition, or if you're trying to lose weight. I mean, Mike, talk us through the success you've had following the different training programs and how it's helped your fitness, performance, technique, all those different things.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone is out there looking to lose some weight, I would definitely recommend swimming. Over the past year, or a little under a year, I've actually lost 100 pounds.
100 pounds! Let's everyone pause right now. Mango, did you hear that? Michael has lost 100 pounds training with MySwimPro.
Michael has lost 100 pounds training with MySwimPro. Michael has lost 100 pounds training with MySwimPro.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, swimming maybe 3 or 4 times a week, about 45 minutes, maybe an hour sometimes, just working on these training plans. I started with the Get Fit training plan.
Get Fit. How long was that one?
I believe that is 8 weeks?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. 6 weeks program.
Yeah, but it starts you off with just 400 meter workouts.
Very small.
Taking you all the way up to, I think, a mile or close to a mile at the end. And then I just kept progressing through the training plans as well as changing my diet and making sure that I'm eating a certain number of calories. So yeah, I would recommend it for anyone.
So we did the Get Fit training plan. Then did you do speed or endurance next?
I think my next was endurance and then speed after that.
Endurance. Those are both 8-week programs. Mm-hmm. And then what one are you doing right now?
The IM one, the Get Fit IM.
He's doing the Get Fit IM. So Get Fit IM is an 8-week training program focused on gearing you up for a 200 IM. There's also an IMX Pro Challenge, which is a more advanced version. The workouts are a little bit longer, 10-week program, and it's getting you ready for a 400 individual medley, which is 100 of each stroke. And we actually just launched 2 new training programs. So if you're looking for a little bit more swimming, we have a 10K challenge training program. This 10K challenge literally gets you ready for a 10,000 meter workout. So the whole program builds from 4,000 meter workouts, and then it's an 8-week program or 10-week program, and by the end of it, you're doing a 10,000 meter workout. So that's for the really advanced and looking for distance athletes. And then we have another training program, which is the 5K challenge, which is a 5K open water race prep. Even if you're not training for a 5K race specifically, maybe you're training for an Ironman, which is 2.4 miles, so a little bit less than 5K, 3.8 kilometers. Or you just want really long workouts, and these workouts are 4,000 or 5,000 meters in duration. So there's a lot, everything from the Get Fit that Michael started with 400 meter workouts, all the way up to 10,000 meter workouts. We have 9 training programs that we're really excited about, and we have more that are coming out soon. What advice do you have for people who just want to get into swimming? They don't know what to do.
So I guess if you're just getting into swimming, it's okay to just go out there, start swimming, and swim back and forth. Get used to the process. If you're in Europe, now you know how to do it because we just told you what it's like to swim in Europe.
What it's like to swim in Europe, yeah.
Just swim back and forth for a while, and then when you get comfortable with everything, you can start some MySwimPro workouts. And if you're using the app, everything's going to be tailored to you. So you just input your times for how fast you can do 100 of each different stroke type, and it'll kind of help you improve no matter what level you're at. So I do a couple workouts and then start with maybe the Get Fit training plan or whatever level you happen to be at.
Yeah, I think the number one key is just get started. So that means go to the pool and do something. Don't overdo it in the beginning because a lot of people, they bite off more than they can chew. And so if it means just going to the pool 1 time per week and swimming 10 times back and forth or 4 times back and forth, that's all you do, and that's fine. And then the next week you can build off of that. And then when you're ready, you can do one of our training programs. If you can do 10 lengths back and forth, you can start with our Get Fit or beginner freestyle training program. These are pretty short. And the key is consistency. You heard it from Mike. He dropped 100 pounds. He's gotten a lot faster at swimming. He's a lot more fit. But he was really consistent. And that's what I always tell people who join the program is you want to start out really consistent, whether it's 2 times a week or 3 times a week. Start out simple. Don't overcomplicate it. We really appreciate you guys tuning in for the Europe swimming conversation. If you guys are from Europe and you have your own pools that you really like and you want us to talk about, or if you think we missed something completely and we completely left things off the table, make sure you leave them in the comments. And if you're not from Europe and you're from any of the other continents, whether it's Africa or Asia, if you're an Aussie down under, let us know what pools are your favorite. If there's different things that are maybe you heard are different from the U.S. pools or in Europe and you want to talk about them, also drop us a message or leave it in the comments. But I think that was it for this episode of Ask a Swim Pro Show.
Thanks,
Stay
guys.
tuned every single week. We have new episodes coming out, and we're going to be talking with some amazing swimmers from all over the world who have some incredibly inspiring stories. So make sure you tune in for that. But I am Faris Sabati, joined by
Michael Alon.
And this is the Ask a Swim Pro Show with our special guest, Mango. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
You guys